Good. All right. So I'd like to call the meeting to order here for the May 4th, 2021 Public Building Commission meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7:03. We'll do a quick roll call. Who's on the phone here? If I don't miss your name, if you could just say it at the end. So we have Alicia Anthony on the phone, Larry Gumet, Seth Beiser, John Lemieux, Captain Brian McGowan, John Miller, Linda Hayes, Joe Anise, Carl Campagna, and Stephanie Holland. Did I miss anyone? No? Okay, good. So yeah, we can get right into the meeting agenda here. So if we could take a minute just to review the meeting minutes from last meeting. How you called in? Hey Kevin, how you doing tonight? Good. We're just taking a minute here to review the meeting minutes from last meeting. So it was May 15th. Okay.
Steve, this is JD. I don't think I've gotten them either.
Yes, I did not send them out to the board.
Oh, okay.
I just realized because we did edit them at the last minute.
Okay. So we will hold on the meeting minutes because we did not get them to review in time, and we will save that agenda item for the next meeting. Okay. Okay, no worries. Good. All right, so we'll jump right into the next item on the agenda here, which is a discussion and review of the open meeting law complaint the board had received back in April 15th. So we received an official open meeting law complaint from Patricia Lambert, and I can read the letter here of her complaint. So, basically it was just, there were some changes from COVID and open meeting law, some temporary changes that have been ongoing for about a year now that we've been operating under. So I'll read the letter here. So it says, I understand that during the pandemic, public meeting protocols have changed. While we do not meet in person, any board commission should offer a way to communicate with said commission board during the meeting. I wanted to participate in a particular meeting because I was concerned about the parking lot lighting issue at the new senior center, currently under construction in Scituate, Massachusetts. Consulting the agenda posted for the meeting, there was no information on how to directly contact the commission. I have been told by others to submit email to the commission. Again, no further information, i.e. email address. After checking protocols for operating a meeting during this time, I found this directive. First, the executive order relieves public bodies from the requiring open meeting law that meetings be conducted in a public place that is open and physically accessible to the public, provided that the public body instead provides adequate or alternative means of public access to the deliberation of the public body. Adequate alternative means may include, without limitation, providing public access through telephone, internet, satellite, enabled audio or video conferencing, and any other technology that enables public to clearly follow the proceedings of the public body in real time. Second, the executive order authorizes all members of public body to participate in the meeting remotely. The open meeting laws require that a quorum of the body and the chair be physically present at the meeting location is suspended. The Public Building Commission offers no way for the public to interact with them as we did prior to March of 2020. Be advised that I'm a member of the Scituate Planning Board, but I'm filing this complaint as a resident of the town, not as a representative of the Planning Board. And she's requesting, her alternative here is please provide either a Zoom link or phone number for public participation of the meetings. So that was the official complaint from Patricia. Is someone calling in? Or is it?
Murphy, yes.
Hey, Chief Murphy, how you doing tonight? And Allie. so this open meeting law complaint, so, I look at it a couple ways. I mean, we started out doing this, and we talked about it with town and with the certain boards, and we just, we identified this SCTV route. Recording it and publicly broadcasting it was, and then also recording it and playing on YouTube was giving, the public ample and clear pathways to follow to proceedings, and then questions and comments were to be submitted to the town hall and then, directed to the Public Building Commission, as they have been by a number of people. And we've been going on with this format for almost a year. And, we haven't had any complaints to this one currently. So I feel, and I think, we all feel we've been operating in compliance with this kind of virus, looming and per protocols and everything, and doing what we can to keep our meetings going. We have unique meetings where we have a lot of people coming in and out. There's a lot of different groups. We also have a lot of paperwork and a lot of purchase orders and requisitions and change orders and things like that to review that do help, it become a little bit maybe cumbersome in some of the other formats to do that. So I think, as time rolls on, obviously there's things change, technology's changed and the town's evolved with what they've got going for some of the other boards. So I did invite Seth Pfizer here to discuss some of the other options maybe we have, just so we can get a discussion going. But as for the letter, does anybody on the board have any comments or anything they would like to add or about our current format and how it's been working for you? And
I think the letter's fine.
Yeah.
This is Larry, and I think
Sure.
what Patricia's saying there is that there's no way to interact with the board when we're actually meeting. I think
Yeah.
if you read the letter, I think that's the issue.
Yeah.
Is that in-time dynamic of the meeting for someone who would like to attend the meeting or ask a question isn't available in the current
Right.
format that we have now. The other question I have is, as the town administrator or town council opined with respect to the format of our meetings right now?
Yeah, basically we're on the up and up. I mean, we're not a public hearing, so we don't need public participation and public comment in the moment. We're not. It's not like there's not. We're a public meeting. You know what I mean? So and then this law kind of opened it up and says we can provide alternatives. So we are in compliance. We believe. It just is there a better format, like you're saying, Larry, with would give the public the opportunity to ask questions in the moment or in live time, right?
Yeah, and I think that's probably what Patricia's
Right.
that's the nature of her complaint, I would say. I'm pleased to hear that we're in legal compliance with the open meeting law
Yeah.
under pandemic rules. So that was a question I had, and I was pretty sure we were, but I'm glad you were able to confirm it, Steve.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments from the board on the current format, or?
This is Joe. I think the format works fine. I mean,
Yeah.
other than like you said, the complaint about not having real time interaction with the commission. I don't know. Would they be allowed to call in?
Yeah. So.
But I think it's been working fine. But
Okay.
I guess that's my question.
Okay.
Like we do. Is that an option? I don't know.
So I think that's a good segue. You know what I mean? We can. Was there someone else with a comment?
All right, Steve?
Yes, Kyle.
I was just wondering, would the general public be allowed to come to the meeting?
So that one's.
If they felt that strongly about participation, they would be able to be present in that room and still keep social distancing, I assume.
Right. So the town hall is still not open yet. That's after 6 o'clock, right?
Okay,
So-
so not allowing the public in?
After 6 o'clock, no. So that brings up, another point, that stuff is rapidly changing and evolving here, so I mean, I don't see, I'm not sure how much longer this will even be needed, but Seth, in talking to him, I mean, Seth can expand on it too a little bit. He thinks, and I do too, I mean, there may be other solutions that are gonna carry on for the foreseeable future, So I think, it's a good segue. I mean, Seth, if you could just kind of give us a rundown of what your thoughts are and what kind of maybe our options are between Zoom and Facebook and how they all work, and I think that'd be good for the board to hear it and make some decisions here.
Yeah, sure, of course. Can everyone hear me okay, yes? I'm assuming so.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
kind of roll ahead. Excellent. So for the record, Seth Pfeiffer, Director of the Town's TV Department. First, I want to sort of agree with almost everyone here that I don't think this complaint will hold up. Once again, for almost everything you've already pointed out, meaning you are a public meeting, you're not a public hearing. For people that do not understand that, like the public meeting, you don't require public comment, meaning you can invite it, of course. You can ask for it, but it's not required. The hearing, rather, you do. But you are a meeting. So now, I know this complaint was more about like enough access. But I believe as long as you're asking for questions and comments before the meeting, and once again, designs, plans, everything, whatever is being discussed in the meeting is available online prior to your meeting, then you're fine. In addition, aside from all of you not being physically in that room, everything you're doing right now is exactly what you did before. Specifically, you're live on Comcast. Your video is available right on Scituate TV's YouTube the following day. Now, as you already said, definitely double check with town council before moving forward, but if she agrees, then if you're comfortable with this format, I think you can continue it. With all that said, I do believe there is merit to this complaint. Now, here's why. You're one of the only commission board committees meeting in this manner. I'm of the opinion the way you're meeting isn't beneficial for the town, specifically for the residents. So the majority of residents really have become accustomed to viewing government meetings and seeing commission members themselves as well as presentations and the presenters themselves as the meeting happens. So, if you wish to switch things up a little bit, you have a couple options. First, the one you're using now, I believe it's called the pre-conference system. So this does allow for some video conferencing as well. Now, I'll say this, is that there are, this was tested out at the beginning for many groups. It did not go so well. Most people did not like it. So my department, we use Zoom. I do it for almost every government meeting at this point, along with other ones too, and some other like town organizations. It's quite popular. People are familiar with it. They know how to do it. It's excellent technology. You can be present from a computer. You can be on your phone. If you have documents that you want to share during it, presentations, what have you, all of that can be shared. Everybody can see it. And I do want to point something out here too, is that when you do this, from my department standpoint, someone from my department is with you the entire time. They help you monitor, they help you do everything. So don't be concerned about that. And I know there is resistance to change. But keep in mind, whenever we do anything, we always do, I've done this with every single department that we do it with. We do some practice rounds to make sure people are comfortable and that they know how to share and sound with it, they can do all of that. So there is no issue there. So I really feel like those are two options if you wish to switch from what you're doing now. And finally, I kind of want to circle back to sort of what Stephen had mentioned, is that I have some concern that everybody is waiting for the pandemic to end and things to go back to some normalcy, right? And meaning that if you're familiar with open meeting laws, you know pre-pandemic, the format we're using now was not allowed, meaning everyone, if you wanted to be in a meeting, if you wanted to participate, you had to be physically present. The pandemic obviously changed that. The thing is that I think everyone has thought into this new technology in the way we are communicating information and communication to people. So and we don't have guidance yet from the state as to how things will go forward, that will likely come August 1st, we believe. But when it comes back out, I'm of the belief that the old way we did things is gone, it's dead. It's like the idea that you have to be physically present will no longer be relevant. And that you may have to be present, meaning maybe like the commission itself, but the public can still be virtual. So we need to figure that out and how we're doing that. And that's not really on you to do that. That's on my plate, and I'll figure that out. But I do think this is the time to begin to embrace this new sort of world that we live in. So I would encourage you to either choose some sort of video element to add to your meetings.
Okay.
And I would recommend Zoom, because anyone you would ask, and you can ask multiple people, will say they understand that. They know how to click the link. They know how to come in. And again, when you think about your meetings yourself, and yes, I know that you may worry about the public and what have you, that's on mine. We set all that up for you so that there's no outburst. You don't have to worry about that. If you even want to take that public comment. But the point is that everything you do would be accessible to the public as it's happening, streaming live online too.
Okay. So how does...
Mike and Joe, do you mind if I chime in?
No, Mike, yeah, you can chime in, absolutely. Go ahead.
So I agree with everything that Seth said. So this program, you guys use the free conference call, and it's definitely served its purpose. Early on, when the pandemic first hit, everybody was running in every different direction to find something. And this is a good tool. It works. It serves its purpose. But Zoom really is a better platform, and Seth and his department have paid for it. And most importantly to me, from my perspective, is it integrates seamlessly into what Seth does. You can stream live on Facebook, which I find valuable because I don't always want to watch on television or whatever. So I want to watch on my computer. I can participate that way and not actually have to join the meeting. The sharing of the desktops and the your faces and the video and the audio is actually pretty similar. It's a little slicker in Zoom. But, when I got the meeting invite to join this way, I was I almost like, whoa, we're not on Zoom, we're using the old system. So again, I pretty much echo all of that.
Okay, thanks, Mike. So Seth, just for clarity, how does the Facebook integration work? Is that just you pick up the Zoom feed and dump it into Facebook? Is that simple as that?
We do it on our end, yes. Correct.
Yeah.
Right before you're about to begin, we begin streaming you. We can do that both on Facebook, we can do it on YouTube. We prefer to do it on YouTube simply because when we look at sort of analytics, the majority of our audience is on Facebook, and that's where they prefer.
Got it. So that's not an interactive link, that's just a streaming viewing link.
That is correct. Now, with that said, people can comment on the actual video itself. Now, remember, we are with you the entire time. So I've had this in the past where someone has said, I want to ask a question, and it says, and so how we respond is, no, if you want to interact, assuming there is public comment,
sure,
you need to join the actual meeting. That does not, the comments there do not apply.
Got it. Okay. So with that all being said, any thoughts or any comments from the board of what you think, kind of what we should do here or carry forward?
Steve, this is Joe again. I think Zoom is a great tool, and I've been involved in several of those kinds of meetings, and I think it works great. And like I say, people could chime in if they want, they can join the meeting. But I mean, that's just my opinion. I think it's a great way to do it.
Okay.
Hey Steve, it's Stephanie.
Yes.
My 2 cents is just if we are going to open it up to the public to call into the Zoom meeting or in whatever fashion, just that we kind of stick to a set format where we have a certain time frame for public comment, and then that way we can keep things moving along. We can meet on project A, we have a public comment for that, and then we move on to project B.
Yeah.
We have a public comment for that one,
No, I think you're right. I mean, we do it,
I'm fine either way.
we kind of do it now anyways. We have, kind of every project, we have kind of a open meeting, open questions that the people send in. But we're right, yeah, we could say open meeting, questions come in 10, 15-minute window, and that's kind of it, or something like that, I mean, we could manage it like
Yeah, that's
that.
what they're used to, kind of, when we were in person, and that way we can kind of keep things flowing.
Yeah,
And can I point something out here too, just that with Zoom, you have a little bit more control. So, for instance, I've been in several meetings where a public comment has gotten a little bit out of control. You as the chair, or whoever you want in charge, can use that person at any moment.
Right.
They're not going to be able to remove themselves. So if things get out of hand, you can do that. And also, if it's not time for public comment, and what people essentially, if you've been on a Zoom, if you've seen the raise hand function, you know what I'm talking about, that if you have it, that's how it works. So when you say it's time for public comment, if you have a comment, raise your hand, you'll see a little icon that goes up that someone has something to say.
sure.
And with that said, those hands could go up at any moment that you were talking about a topic that you are not taking public comment. In which case you can just sort of say, look, you can leave your hand raised all you want. You're not getting called on. But you have that power, meaning they are not going to be able to speak until you tell them to.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can even lower all hands.
Yes.
When you start the open comment, you can lower it, kind of give it a clean slate, and say, okay, now if you have any questions, raise them.
Right.
Correct, yeah.
And then my only other worry, I mean, not worry, but, I mean, we go over, I mean, I got, I don't know, 40 pieces of paper sitting in front of me here, you know what I mean? All these purchase orders, we put those, I mean, I guess we can work that out after. I just don't know how much, because typically we never shared purchase orders and invoices at our regular public meeting, I guess that's something we could figure out how to do.
I mean, I said they're probably, they're in the minutes either way, so either way it's getting out there.
Yeah. Yeah, there would be a public, document request to get these purchase orders, but,
Yeah, correct, that's a good point.
Stephen and I did talk briefly about that. Sometimes if you need to sign documents and you're meeting by Zoom, that may require you to go into town hall the following day or whatever your deadline is.
Yeah.
So that is something to keep in mind too. I mean, that is the benefit of having a meeting town hall. Everything is right there for you.
yeah, I would have to come in at some point to sign this stuff, right? All right. And Carl, how do you feel about the Zoom deal? Is that something?
I'm set up for Zoom, and I would not have a problem with it myself. Because I've had a couple of conferences, I consult part-time, and I've had a couple of Zoom conferences that way. So I'll go along with whatever the board wants to do.
Okay. Larry, you got any comments?
No, I'm good with, I've done a number of Zoom meetings, and I think, the point being that you can control the people who are actually speaking from your end, Steve.
Yeah.
And I don't, and back to Stephanie's point, I don't know why we have to share all of the invoices and purchase orders with the public in a Zoom meeting, because we never did it in a public meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
As you see, it's available to the public if they're so inclined, they can come to town hall and get whatever they need.
Honestly, I think that's what I get most of my questions are these purchase orders. And it's again, people just don't understand. It's just, we're signing off on work we already voted on and approved. We're just signing on if it was complete, and they can get paid, It's just
And you can certainly understand their confusion or misunderstanding.
Right.
With respect to documents in our process.
Yeah. No, I can appreciate it for sure. Good.
I'm good with moving into a a new era with Zoom. I think that's early comments about not going back to the old ways forever, I think are really pertinent, and I think we are forever changed.
If I could comment on that, one of the gentlemen that was speaking a few minutes ago mentioned that we would be getting some kind of direction from the state.
I think that was Seth.
In August. Is it something that we have to rush into, or can we wait until August until we get a direction from some higher up agency?
Yeah, no, that's a good point, and that was my Seth Spicer of Scituate TV. I did mention that. So yeah, I mean, this is tentative. What we're looking at is August 1st. Is that what we hope becomes like the new normal, and we assume that we'll get direction on open meetings. So the open meeting law specifically from my standpoint. So yes, that could just that could get rid of everything. They say, nope, we're going back to the way we were, in which case this discussion is mute. But as I said, I do not believe that will be the case. There are so many what ifs right now. Everything is just sort of up in the air. We're waiting. We don't know, but all signs sort of point to August 1st for now to determine what happens next. And I have some groups that are smaller groups that are meeting in person, and some that want to continue with Zoom. And what I tell them is, you can continue with Zoom right now, but keep in mind, come August 1st, that can all change. But we just don't know. We don't know. So. Yeah, I mean, I hope that answers your question. That's the best I can give.
August 1st is only 3 months, so.
Well, right, exactly, right.
I know, we've come this,
Let's just say that.
we've come this far doing this for almost a year now. I mean, we get potentially 3 to 4 meetings left of this format potentially till there's some kind
Well,
of.
that's a good point, Dave.
Stay where we are until we see what happens on the next directive. And then we can adjust accordingly.
Right. Yeah, that's the approach I'd like to take.
Yeah.
All right.
Anybody else?
I mean, I gotta put it up to a vote here anyway, so I mean, we can.
Steve, is the process clear if someone does have a question, who you contact at the time now? Is that something that we should include at the top of our meeting minutes or something like that? Is that maybe part of the confusion as well?
It probably is, Stephanie. Yeah, we could probably we should put something on the agenda,
Right. Not just the minutes, but I think it needs to be published with the agenda, Steve. I think that's correct.
Sorry, an agenda. I said that backwards.
If you are not comfortable with Zoom, I think where you're going is exactly correct. If you publish the number to call in on, not to be able to necessarily speak, there is that option in there that goes onto your agenda. So as long as people can just call in and listen, I think any sort of complaints will be well, I mean, you only have one, but you may still get another one. But yeah, I think that would help. Meaning you have another option. You no longer have to just watch it on Comcast. You no longer have to wait till the next day for Scituate TV's YouTube. You can actually call into that meeting. So if you put that on your agenda, if you like the way you're meeting now, I think you'd be totally fine.
All right. So it seemed.
One thing, again, sorry, this was Mike and Charlie, but I actually wrote the instructions for the conference call and count 2 that were sent out. These are not intended to be public, sent out to the public, as they were, as I noticed today. So these are mixed instructions, some for the board, some for the public. So the public pieces need to be copied out and then pasted into the public notice. These actually have administrative passwords.
Yeah.
So people can override the meeting with this information in it. So just that needs to be definitely taken into consideration when we're putting this conference information on the conference calling account.
All right, so it sounds like the majority are looking to stay with the same format, and then this is contingent on we add something in the agenda and minutes for a contact, and then also on the agenda we add the participation, thank you, Mike, for the clarity, the participation detail for people to call into this number. And then this is all very, this we'll put it up, and we'll say we'll review it again in August when the new meeting laws are revised. I mean, is that?
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with that too.
Agreed.
Yeah, we've come this far, so I mean, all right. All right, does everyone feel we've sufficiently covered the open meeting law complaint? I think, I don't think we're out of compliance, but I think there is merit to it. But I think, we can take these couple steps to definitely add the contact information where on the couple places here with the minutes and the agenda, and then add the participation call-in number for the phone call. Lisa, give someone another avenue to call in. And then the questions will still be channeled through the town hall and come to us, and we will review them at the meetings, as we always do. Does that sound, and we'll review that again in August, at the August meeting.
I think it sounds good.
Okay. All right, I'd like to make a motion to continue on with the current meeting format as we have through the pandemic. We will add contact information to the meeting minutes and also the meeting agendas that are posted. We will add the participation call-in number to the agendas when they're released. And we will have a review of meeting format and possible new open meeting laws when they're come out in August. So our meeting in August, we will review the open meeting format and current laws. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Joe Anise. You do a roll call, Alicia, with just the board.
Stephanie? Yes. Larry?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Ethan?
Yes. All right, so the vote is unanimous, so the motion passes, and we'll follow through with the said plan here. Good. Thank you, everyone, for the discussion. I appreciate it. All right. So moving along here.
Steve,
Yes.
Steve, this is Joe.
Go ahead, Joe.
Back to the open meeting complaint. Do we need to, does someone, or the board, or someone need to respond to this? I thought that's what you said.
Yes.
30 days to respond to this. How's that going to happen?
So we received the letter. We had to review the letter within the 14-day window with the board, which we're completing now, and then we have another 14 days to submit a response. So we'll get that together with the town here and with the have it reviewed with the appropriate parties and get it out to the Attorney General and to Ms. Patricia Lambert here. So.
Right. Okay. Well, I wasn't sure. I thought it was 14-day period, so I was unclear on that. Thank you.
Okay. Good. All right. Good question. Thank you. Okay. Good. All right. So moving right along here. So John Lemieux is here tonight. Was from Vertex. I know most of the board probably remembers John from past projects, but he is here in lieu of Steve. Had a conflict tonight, so. So John, yeah, I'll hand it over to you. I don't know if Steve gave you some cheat sheets or notes to give a little project update. Okay, great.
Yeah, he did. So, thank you, and good evening, everybody. And if anything's wrong with anything, it's Steve's fault. I've got some progress updates for you since the last meeting, which was on April 15th. Those are as follows. Punch list work is continuing. BHA HA and Vertex have reviewed the status of the interior and exterior building plans list based on Delphi's checked-off list. There's still numerous items left to complete. Civil, landscaping, MEP, FP are ongoing. Monetized punch list should be issued this week. Landscaping work was performed, including planting of hydroseed, several trees to be replaced that were planted last fall that didn't make it through the winter. Owner training has continued. Low voltage training is scheduled for May 18th. ERV parts, and those include the fan motor and the stage 2 compressor, were installed on April 23rd. Commissioning is still yet to be performed. And the generator block heater was replaced. As far as upcoming events, the ribbon cutting for the building is scheduled for May 13th at 10 a.m. That's going to be by invite only to maintain social distancing and best practices due to COVID. Invitations are to be issued. And Steve forwarded Delphi payment app number 15, totaling $345,076.22, bringing the work percent complete to 98%. And that's what were performed in March 2021, and a partial retainage release. Retainage was reduced to 2.5% only on items that were 100% complete. So those were the presentation items from Steve. Brought up a couple other issues. One being that for landscape watering, the DPW denied issuing a valve meter backflow preventer to Delphi for use on the hydrant for landscape watering. So the contractor's been using the hose bib from the senior center, the old Gates building. The only issue there is the volume. The volume from the buildings is low, but we've been helped out by the fact that there's been so much rain lately. So that's a good thing.
Okay.
And, that's all I have for presentation items from Steve.
All right.
Any questions? Please feel free to ask questions, and I'll make sure to get you'll have a response back by morning. If there's any.
No, I've been driving by. The place looks good. I think, the landscape and everything is cleaned up pretty nicely. Hopefully some of that grass is taken. I saw some photos. I was talking to Steve about it on Facebook about, some ponding out back and maybe some water retention, but in talking to Steve about it, there was a silt sack around that drain out in the main backyard area there that was there because the grass isn't mature and stuff isn't growing. So, it's doing its job, but it obviously was draining a little slower than it should in normal operation. So that's understandable. But no, I don't have any questions directly on the project at this point. Does anyone else have any questions or comments on the project first?
No, I don't have any questions. No, looks good.
Okay. All right, we'll get to the application.
Linda, hey.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Steve,
I was going to say, is Linda or John else about
JD, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to ask about replacing trees or landscaping items. Is that being done promptly in hopes of getting new stuff into the ground in May and June so that it can take, or?
Yes, I believe so. Yes.
Good question, JD. Who else had a comment? That one? Okay. All right, that's good. And that Delphi application for payment, that's a couple lines down in the agenda here, so we'll get to that. But that's good. They came around and adjusted it and everything. That's nice. All right, so good. So discuss submitted question. We didn't have much this week. There was still just some ongoing questions about the lighting and some requests for as-built of the lightings. So that stuff, as-built, are still in the works as the job's being done, and then they're still in the works on the programming of the lighting with the motion sensors and the reduced, ballast lighting, the dimming features. So that is all still in the works. There's nothing been finalized on that yet.
Yes, that is correct. And there's still the other thing about lighting, the exterior building one.
Yeah.
Right now are on from 7 to 6. That's the wall gone
Yes.
Test the recording ability of the video system, so that's still ongoing as well.
Right, and that's
Can you tell, this is my, okay, can you tell me when that started? I know that the vote was taken, planning board approved it, I wasn't aware that the switch was actually done, because every time I go back and look at the cameras, the concerts were still off. So I'm trying to capture the time range based on the moon, for the full moon schedule, based on the conversation we had. I'm just trying to figure out a starting date and an ending date with the 30-day trial.
Okay, well, I will get to that.
Mike, it's Kevin.
I don't know either. I thought it would have been a couple of weeks ago at least, but I don't know that.
sounds like Kevin has something to weigh in here. Kevin, if you want to fight your way through the phone here and get up to the front.
No, that's fine. Mike, it's Kevin. I'm pretty sure we made the change about 2 weeks ago. I'll verify that in the morning.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, if you could just shoot me an email. I don't need the exact date, just the proper time.
Yeah, we do have the, I don't have it in front of me, but we have the date, so I can get that.
And that trial is going to be reviewed by, you know, all you folks and also the Scituate PD, correct? Got it.
The two critical people looking at the results would be the PD and the IT.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So that was it for questions. So not a ton this week. All right. So moving right along here, Mike Michello, we got you in the phone here. So you had a couple items in the AV you wanted to discuss tonight here.
Yeah, I'm looking for approval for spending. In the 3 small conference rooms in the new community center, there are rings put in the wall for, so let me back up. They have wired for electricity for wall-mounted TVs or wall-mounted monitors in the 3 small conference rooms. They've also put in rings and pull strings for HDMI port, 1 low standard outlet height, and then 1 high, like which would be here behind the television, behind the monitor. And it's used for in the conference rooms where anybody has computers, just plug in the HDMI port in the wall, and then present on the monitor. So right now we have just light plate behind it with pull strings, and we just need to put the HDMI cable and the faceplate on it. I've got two prices, 2 different vendors. One was for actually got $1,515 for the same work that another vendor priced $462. The $462 vendor is Telecom. They're also our data cabling vendor. So I gave you the committee quote for that work that I just mentioned, and separately for some data connections that are needed for the I think it's the HVAC controller.
Yeah.
In the janitor's closet on the 2nd floor.
Yep.
And 2 additional drops down in the AV closet for the AV vendor to get all their equipment on the network, and also one of those is for the new Apple TV that she installed.
So Kevin, that HVAC stuff, that'll give you some remote monitoring capabilities, I'm imagining? That's what you're going for?
Yes.
Yeah, it seems.
That will give us more remote access and monitoring stuff. Well, some of it, we will not have remote capabilities for the ERV, but we will have remote for the heating cooling.
It does, yeah. Yeah, different controllers in the devices, get it. All right. Yeah, again, it's just miscellaneous. Yeah, once you get into a building and live in there a little bit, this is the stuff you find. I mean, it's pretty short money. I think, you know, there's a couple dollars in the budget for this. Any questions or comments directly from the board or anyone on the project on this one?
No, I have none.
Okay. All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve a proposal from E2 Telecom Company for some Cat 6 cabling and also some HDMI cabling. There's 2 scopes of work. One scope is $670, and the second scope of work for the HDMI cabling is $462.90, bringing the total to $1,132.90 for the full proposal. Is there a second? Second. Was that Larry who seconded it, I think? Yeah, seconded by Larry Gilmet. If we could do a roll call, Alicia, for the senior center project, that'd be great.
Stephanie? Yes. Larry?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Linda? Yes. Carl?
Yes.
Steven?
Yes. Did you get Linda and John too? Sorry.
Oh, John.
Yeah.
John?
Yes.
Yes. All right, great. So the vote is unanimous, so the motion passes. So that's good. So Mike, you can get that work done. That's great.
All right, thank you very much, guys, appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks for jumping on. All right, next up on the agenda here is Linda with just some little kind of equipment swap in the kitchen. Again, it's just once you get in the building, you live there, you kind of need some little changes here and there. So Linda, I don't know if you want to chat about that, and we can.
I guess I think at this point it's just the one item, it's not the whole board, because Nancy did end up requesting bids for the larger order of the small equipment and some other equipment. But there was a swap quote that I asked for in Boston Showcase, because in the kitchen, for the prep island, they had added a shelf, a very sort of a, maybe typical, I don't know, cook or chef shelf, which I hadn't asked for, and just feels like it's in the way, and we are also missing a good rack for pots and pans, and ideally would like more of a hanging rack, so they're able to customize to use the post that the present shelf is on, or connected by. Anyway, they're building a higher up unit area that could suffice for hanging pots and pans and utensils. That's the $1,900 quote.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I sent it out. It looks reasonable to me. You take the shelving off, and then you put it in a rack system. I mean, it seems in the ballpark for a nice, solid commercial, racking system that's going to stand the test of time here. I mean, I don't.
It's unfortunate, but it will serve us, and then we don't have to buy a separate fucking hand rack and just
Right.
do away with this other piece.
Yeah,
So it was well.
pretty cut and dry. I mean, any questions or comments from the board on this little change here?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. All right. I'd like to make a motion to approve a slight change in the order to the Boston Showcase Company, changing a table-mounted shelf to a table-mounted pot rack. The cost of the change is $1,950. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Carl Campagna. If we could do a roll call, Alicia, for the senior center project, that'd be great.
Stephanie? Yes. Judy?
Yes, I think it's a good idea.
Larry?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Linda? Yes. Carl?
Yes.
Steven?
Yes. All right. So the vote is unanimous. So the motion passes. Great. So we can get that change done for you, Linda. Thank you. Good. Moving right along here. All right.
Thank you.
So back up here, we're back at, so John, let me, we're still on the phone, we're back here to that Delphi application for payment. We did go over it last meeting and, and sent it back to you, so you can give us a briefing kind of where you're at with it, and I think I think it's ready to be voted on here. You still on the phone, John, or no? He may have dropped off.
Sorry, Steve, but no, I'm still here.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so I will tell you, Steve did not leave me any details about what happened with the requisition.
Okay.
Since the last meeting. You know, it was a pencil rec process. It's not, it's in the cover letter, covers the senior center project, Miss metal, carpentry, siding, waterproofing, roofing, glazing, doors, resilient flooring, painting, specialties, food service, elevator, fire protection, MEP, and site work, and a rec center, masonry, Miss metals, waterproofing, glazing, elevator, fire protection, MEP as well, general conditions, change orders, and a partial retained release just for those completed items. 345-076-22.
Good, yes.
Steve, it's Steve Kirby. I'm on the line.
Oh, you made it. Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Just in time.
That's it. I know.
Did fine, John. Man.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
So, Steve, if you just want to give us a little synopsis of where you were at last meeting. I know they changed some of the percentage complete, and there was some negotiation there. So, yeah, if you want to just give us a rundown, and then we'll get this thing put to bed here.
Well, what they had done is they made the financial end of it and the accounting simple by just zeroing everything out as being 100% complete, and then applying a retainage reduction to everything. And unfortunately, we could not agree to that because there was certainly line items that were not 100% complete, which would really be an inaccurate application of payment. But on top of that, you have final subdivisions involved, so they would have been able to say, listen, you approved 100% of my work, and I want to get paid for it, even though that they had, there's items that were incomplete in the month of March. So that did go back and forth with Delphi a little bit, but they relented to, doing the requisition with per line item, and we crossed out a number of items that were incomplete. Joe brought up last meeting, the BEA. That's an item that was not installed. We're looking for a credit on that, but we haven't agreed to the amount yet. So they adjusted their requisition, and like John said, we allowed them to reduce their retainage by 50% to 2.5% on anything that was 100% complete.
Okay.
If it wasn't, then it's being held at 5%, and then we wanted to hold 5% on the mason and the tile installer because they have some work that they have to do, which it's a little bit greater than what their balance was. So again, they agreed to all that. We're going to be running into the same issue on the April requisition, but we'll deal with that as it comes in. But for March, we are recommending this amount.
Okay. No, I appreciate you going over this in detail and really and doing a good service to the town here and making sure we're getting the right product and the right billing. Certainly, that's a good exercise. Certainly, and I think we all reviewed it, and it does reflect in what you're saying. A lot of the columns are not 100% complete, as they are not 100% complete. So that looks good. The invoice has been reviewed by both Vertex and BH+A, so we're good there. Any questions or comments from the board on this one? No?
No, this is Joe. Steve, just a quick question. I think I understand that we're getting down to the nitty-gritty with the punch list. You are going to do a monetized punch list this week or next week? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, we were trying to get it out for yesterday. It's been going back and forth between myself and Rachel from BHA, just so
sort of fine tuning it. Matter of fact, I sent her an email back within the last hour on some things, but we'll have a monetized amount, and then that next requisition can be, filled out to that monetized amount. So it actually should make things a little bit easier, but again, it's not 100% complete. We're gonna end up talking about it. But yes, I anticipate if it doesn't go our way tonight, it'll be issued to them tomorrow.
Oh, that's great. It usually gets their attention, I think, right? I mean, let's try to get to the end of this thing. We've come so far. The place looks awesome, by the way. I was there the other day. It was really beautiful.
Good.
Well, what we've done is, we developed the punch list the first time and gave it to them. They came back with a couple of iterations of completeness, and then we had to go back and make sure that we agreed that the items were complete, and in a number of cases they weren't. So, that process takes a little bit of time.
I know.
We did the interior, then we did the exterior, the civil and landscaping. But we're working through it. Making sure that, we're not just, we're actually looking at the items to make sure that they're fine.
Right.
Okay.
Great. Thanks, Steve.
All right, any other comments, questions? No, there being none. Okay. I'd like to make a motion to approve application for payment number 15 to Delphi Construction for services performed through March 31st, as noted by John Mute previously. The application for payment is an amount of $345,076.22. The invoice has been reviewed by both Vertex and BH plus A and signed off on. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Joe Anise. If we could do a roll call, Alicia, for the senior center.
Stephanie? Yes. JD?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Linda? Yes. Carl?
Yes.
Edith?
Yes. All right. So the motion passes unanimously, and we'll get this signed off and back to you. Thank you. Good.
Thanks.
All right. So on the next, so we just have a couple purchase orders to review here and sign off on, and then that'll should wrap it up for the senior center here. So we do have one purchase order here. It's from DGI Communications. It's for change orders 1 through 4 we approved previously. Mike, if you're still on the phone, is this the work's complete? Everything's satisfactory with it?
I think he's gone.
Okay.
Yes.
But Linda, you could speak to it, right? Everything's.
I'm sorry, but I was looking forward to speak to it better than I can.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mike, I got you. No. Yes, well, the audiovisual work that they did do is working. We're actually using some of it, so, yes, I'm happy. I'm not sure if they are coming back for anything else, Mike, you know?
Yes, we're going to come back for training. We have not been walked through the system yet or trained, although we have been using it.
We have been. As I've had to reach out probably a couple of times, but they have been responsive. So yes, I have fumbled through these in some of it. It's great.
Okay, good. So the work is done. So I'd like to make a motion to approve purchase order 2109047 to DGI Communications for change orders number 1 through 4 in the amount of $4,707.05. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Joe Anise. If we could do a roll call, Alicia, for the senior center.
Stephanie? Yes. JD?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Linda? Yes. Carl?
Yes.
Edith?
Yes. All right, so the vote is unanimous, so the motion passes. Great. All right, we got a couple from Kevin Kelly here from Home Depot we'll run through. hold on. Just doing a little math work here. Nancy, this 3,000, is that subtracted from this?
Yeah.
Okay.
You feel it's gonna come into the work?
Yeah. All right, so Kevin, you still on the phone or no? It's all right if you aren't. He may have dropped off. Anyway, so a couple from the invoices came in from Okay, so the big Home Depot order we placed, you had placed and we approved last meeting. You got one here for $16,030.72, but there's still, you still have some goods out in the street remaining for, it looks like $3,389.93. Is that safe to say? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a partial improvement on this purchase order for, it'd be $12,640 and,
Small amount. Only 3,389 is arrived.
what's the current one?
The 3,000 number, the smaller amount?
So that's the one we're approving tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
That's how much it was arrived, the 12,000 is outstanding.
Got it. Okay.
Sorry.
So the current bill, for clarity, is on this larger order for this is so this current bill for this purchase order is $3,389.93, and that was for just I don't know, some of these supplies, Kevin.
Yeah, the supplies, most of them have been audited and they're coming in almost daily.
Okay, good. Okay. All right, so I'd like to make a motion to approve a partial payment on purchase order 2108121 to Home Depot at the amount of $3,389.93. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Stephanie Holland. If we could do a roll call, Alicia, on the senior center.
Carl?
Yes.
Linda? Yes. Joe?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Stephanie? Yes. Steven?
Yes. All right, so vote is unanimous, so that payment is in the books. All right, so again, we have another Home Depot invoice here from Kevin, and a partial payment on the same purchase order for $18.93. This looks like some just some mops and it's a couple other miscellaneous. Yeah, basically just some mop frames and things like that. So seems logical. Any questions on this one? No? All right. So I'd like to make a partial payment approval for purchase order 2108121 for some mop frames in the amount of $18.93. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Carl Campana. If you could do a roll call, Alicia, that'd be great.
Stephanie? Yes. JD?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Linda? Yes. Carl?
Yes.
Steven?
Yes. All right. So votes unanimous. So we're good there. Passes. All right. So again, last one here, same purchase order, partial payment for just some miscellaneous janitorial supplies. It looks like some cart supplies, some basically just some miscellaneous janitorial supplies. Again, any questions or comments for Kevin? Kevin's kind of gone over this already, but no?
I'm still here.
No, I think we're good. All right. I'd like to make a motion to approve a partial payment on purchase order 2108120 to Home Depot for miscellaneous janitorial supplies in the amount of $457.69. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, seconded by Larry Gilmet. If you can do a quick roll call, it'd be great.
Stephanie? Yes. JD?
Yes.
Larry? Larry?
Oh.
Joe?
Yes.
Linda? Yes. Carl?
Yes.
Stephen?
Yes, all right, so the vote is unanimous and the motion passes. Good, all right, so for the senior center, that wraps it up, unless anybody's got any final questions or comments or anything they'd like to discuss in the senior center? No? All right, good. All right, thank you, senior center project team, I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Guys, thank you. Have a good night.
You too, take care. All right, on to the fire station. I don't know, who's on, is there anyone on from the project team on the fire station?
Good evening, John from Untitled Engineering.
Hey, John, how you doing tonight?
Very well, thanks.
Good. So yeah, John, if you want to jump right in, just give us a little update on where we're at with the project and how things are looking out down there, that'd be great.
Yeah, things are looking good, moving right along, we're still practicing a number of submittals, with look ahead for new materials coming onto the job site. We've got a 3-week look ahead schedule from the contractor, was submitted last Thursday. Last week they were involved with prepping foundation base, dealing with some site work, stockpiling the site materials. They had the surveyors out there this morning and yesterday, I believe, doing the layout work, prepping foundations for the footings, forming the footings, looking to pour the footings. I think it's Thursday or Friday this week. So they've had the rigs out there compacting the soil. We've got a structural inspection scheduled for Thursday to look at rebar and placement of the footings prior to the concrete pour. Next week, once the footings are poured, they'll be looking to start forming foundation walls. So it's moving along pretty well on that part of it. We have an issue with a cesspool that was one was in the wrong location, and another one was uncovered on the site. They got buried. So we've got a change order that we submitted and processed. We'll be looking for a positive vote on that. And that's all I have to report on that. There's a lot of coordination going back and forth, weekly meetings every Thursday morning. Those are pretty well attended. Got good participation from the contractor and the design team on that part of it. So that's it. I was away a couple of days last week, so I'm kind of playing catch up a little myself here. But I just went over the meeting schedule with the team, and that's where things are at as far as I know.
So how's all the site sampling going, and the core samples and the soil samples, everything looking clean there?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there was a submittal that did not meet the specific requirements for structural fill. So we had a gradation sample or requirement to meet certain gradation for the structural fill for compaction. So when Bridge received it, it did not meet the specific requirements. It was not compliant technically. It had it was a broad spectrum of materials, and that one was not in compliance. So the tower construction is aware of that, and they will not be using that for structural fill. It's suitable for ordinary fill, backfill, and that sort of thing. So they do have specific material that we specified for the structural fill underneath footings, and then also particularly underneath the slab on grading area. So that did get approved, and they had specification on that all set up and calibrations for when the time comes to do the compaction tests on that. So that's all squared away. Everyone's aware of the structural fill requirement at this point.
Okay, good. And the building and the structures, that's been ordered and in the works?
I don't know if the building has been ordered yet. I know that there was some of the components were.
Okay.
The trusses and that sort of thing. I think they're a little bit more of a lead time item.
Yeah.
So that's still in process. Yeah.
Okay. And is there any worry, cost escalations in materials? I mean, that's all it seems to be like the latest and greatest in the news here about.
Thanks for asking. Yeah, there is a worry, and unfortunately, the contractor's kind of stuck with that in a sense. he told me that the rebar cost has gone up, material costs on the wood as well, but he's locked in the subs
Okay.
on most of the things, and so, yeah, no, he's aware, he signed the contract, so he owns that part of it.
Okay, so the exposure is passed on to the contract and the subs
Yeah,
essentially, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is correct.
All right, that makes sense. All right, and utilities and everything, you know, gas, sewer, and electrical all seem to be, I know projects in the past we've get a little jammed up and hook up sometimes and things like that.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. I think they're on the way, Chief Work's did a good job to get that stuff lined up and
Good.
got the ball rolling early on in that process. So the electrical is used the big ones and get gas. But, you know, they already have gas service to the building.
Yeah.
And water service, so those were cut off. Electrical service was already in the process of relocating the service line, the telephone pole that got put in was already in place actually. So it's really just a matter of getting those coordinating and getting the permit numbers, those things were already in place. So the utilities have been cut off. They're as far as I know, all those will be taken, capped off and shut off until it's time to ready to hook up again.
Okay. And I guess just this site work and the grading and all that stuff, that's all been reviewed for handicap accessibility and ADA compliance and all that stuff?
That is correct, yeah. So the parking lot grading has been prepared in anticipation of the handicap ramp. There is a designated handicap spot for the parking lot. The bid alternative at for parking pavement was not taken as part of the contract. To be something that would be done at some later date. The idea was that it would be regraded and some new gravel put down, in that space. The handicap ramp itself was also not was an add alternate and was not as part of this contract. It will be done predicate to the issuance of the building permit. The chief has been speaking with the Hope Tech students. And,
oh, good.
That's a project that's on their list to do. So
okay.
I believe that's already in the works, and we got money in the budget for the materials, which the town will be paying for the materials, but the students will do all the work.
Got it. All right. Any questions or comments from the board on the project?
No, go ahead, then.
Joe, do you have anything? Joe, do you have anything to add in?
John hit the nail on the head. It's just going along quite nicely. We had that little hiccup with the change order, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
We lost a couple of days, but they're doing a great job. Really confident in tower construction.
Great. Okay. All right, good. So yeah, moving right along. So yeah, the project, I've been talking to John and Joe, who's helping out from representing our board down there in the meetings and taking full participation, which is appreciated. So it looks like, as they started digging and looking around the property, I know we talked previously about the cesspools. There was one down there, they were going to abandon it and kind of doctor it up, but I guess in the interim they found altogether 4 of them. Is that correct to say, John? There was 4 cesspools?
Yeah, that's correct.
So there was 4 cesspools basically kind of abandoned on the property in place, and they were in direct conflict with the proposed foundation to the building. So that that made it necessary to make some quick changes and get stuff kind of squared away, because we were potentially in a position we were going to lose our forming contractor for the concrete work. So we got a change order and it was reviewed and approved and to get it moving here, but we can review it with the board and vote on it here as kind of a to make sure we get all our dots I's dotted and T's crossed here. So is that safe? Is that kind of the way the events unfolded, John and Joe? Is that how it happened?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct plan.
Okay. So yeah, it's just one of those unfortunate things. You start digging in the ground, you find stuff sometimes, I don't know if the board has any questions or comments. I mean, I think we've all been involved in enough projects.
Well,
This stuff comes up.
That's what we call unforeseen conditions.
Yes. Yeah, just to note too, the site was vetted, and it was, due diligence was completed by engineering, and, this stuff, was document reviews and site reviews. This stuff was, like Joe said, I mean, this stuff was buried. It was under the existing building. There's no way you would have found it unless you started digging. So I'm pretty confident saying that there's no one's at fault of not unearthing this prior to the digging actions and looking around at the property, so.
We never would know, no?
So anyways.
It's an old building.
Yeah.
And back in the day, they would, if they dig a hole, put a cesspool in it, they'd pump all the sewage there, and then it'd back up, and they would just, dig a hole and run another pipe and then bury it, so.
Yeah.
Essentially that was the case, so, the one had the, manhole at grade, so that was visible, and I think that's what the surveyor shot. And the idea was that, one was like the actual cesspool, and then there's like an overflow one. So only one of them was really needed anyways. This is kind of just to hold things over until, the time comes when a new septic system we put in. But again, it's really more a budgetary thing. Board of Health did approve that. We did copy them on all the documentation with what has gone on, so they're aware of it. But yeah, like you say, they were digging. Unfortunately, two of these things were in a location where the foundations were. So that was the fire drill. No pun intended. That was what we they were digging. It's like, well, we got to just move forward with it. So you can't just bury it and put the foundation over it. That would obviously compromise the footing long term. So it has to be abandoned. They have to dig it out. They have to pump it out first. Collapse all of the old blocks on it, loose laid bricks, the way they built it back in the day, and then that, bring the structural fill, compact it all, and then bring it back up to grade, up to the bottom of the footing elevation.
So I think they ended up doing that to 3 of them, right?
Let me see, only 2 actually.
2 of them, okay.
The other one was in the middle of the parking lot, so it was not as a concern. They did collapse that one as well and backfill it and
Got it.
compact, but it was not as it wasn't as much of a current concern as the other 2 that were underneath footings.
Okay, so anyway, so they did the 2 of them fully removed, backfilled, compacted, and then they kind of collapsed another one. So the price anyway is for the job was $6,560.19, which I thought was a pretty reasonable price for sure. To do all that work, and they were already mobilized. So yeah. So any questions or comments directly on this change order from the board? No? Okay, there being none. I'd like to make a motion to approve change order number 3 to Tower Constructions for the removal and pumping and demolition of 2 cesspools discovered on the property. They were in close proximity to the foundation and needed to be removed, filled, and compacted. The amount of the change order is $6,560.19. Is there a second? Seconded by Stephanie Holland. And Alicia, if we could do a quick roll call on the fire station project down in Hummerock, that'd be great.
Captain McGowan, are you there?
Yes.
And Chief Murphy?
Yes.
Captain? Yes. Larry?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Steven?
Yes, all right, so the vote is, go ahead.
Is Al voting on this?
Nope, not tonight. They were already at the, no, Carl, she asked about Al. Al's on the phone, but he's not voting tonight because Chief and Captain are on the phone, so. Good, all right, so the vote is unanimous, so the motion passes. Great, all right, what else? There's no change orders, no invoices or anything for the fire station. We didn't receive anything, so I think we're clear there. That's safe to say. Good.
Yeah, we did get a draft, but it's not, I heard the chance to process it.
Okay. All right, so we'll
talk about that the next meeting.
yeah, we'll catch that next meeting.
I think is what they'll be looking at. So, yeah, there's nothing on the agenda for tonight.
Okay, great. Any other comments or questions or anything to address for the fire station project on Hummerock?
No.
Chief, how's the relocation going with the folks down there? Everybody settled in and going okay?
Yeah, it's worked out great. Took a ride down the yesterday. Everybody settled in and communication periodically with the people there, and they're happy with us. We're happy with them, so it's all worked out well.
Great. That's good to hear. All right, good. All right, so we can wrap up the fire station project for tonight. That's great. All right, moving right along. Next item on the agenda here, is there any old or new business or anything open for discussion with the board? No? Okay. Take silence as a no. All right, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:23 p.m. Is there a second? Seconded by Carl. If we could do a roll call, Alicia, with the board, that'd be great.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes. All right, so the motion passes. So great. Thank you, everyone, for your time tonight. Appreciate it.